Hi there, namaste, and welcome back to another spiritualistic pick a card reading. Today I'm channeling a message to you from your ancestors. So please take a deep breath and draw the energy up your spine to create a clear and open energy channel. As you exhale, come into clear knowing which group is for you. Feel free to pick more than one if you feel called. We have group 1 on the left with removal of obstacles, group 2 in the center with rooted in gratitude, and group 3 on the right with escaping the matrix. As always, your timestamps are listed below in the description box. If you would like to meditate with me, that will be the first link in the description box below. If you'd like a personal with me, you'll be able to find that in the description box as well. You can find sessions with me on my spiritual store. It's on Etsy at Spiritualistik, just like my username is across social platforms. I also have up there hand-wrapped crystals by me, which are infused with specific hertz frequencies, Reiki, and every single design is one of a kind and specifically channeled with me and some of my strongest spirit guides. Also, I've got up there things to assist your spiritual practice, like intention candles. I'm very excited about those. Meditation cushions, dream journals, so on and so forth. So the things that you really want to push your spiritual growth to the next level are going to be on my store there. And of course, if you'd like a session, I offer Reiki, as well as tarot, channeling, astrology, and astrocartography at this point in time. I also do personalized light codes for those of you who are interested in that as well. So if you would like to check me out in any of those ways, you can find me on Instagram and TikTok, also at Spiritualistik. I do have a Patreon where I post exclusive content weekly. I also have a membership channel here on YouTube, and I also have a donation-based book club where you can find that on my Patreon. But we are currently reading The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. We're having a great time. We meet once every 2 months, so everyone's got enough time to read, decompress, procrastinate, whatever serves you. And finally, I do have another YouTube channel that I have recently started, if you wouldn't mind subscribing to that or if you want to check it out. That is all collective tarot readings, so there will be anywhere between 1 minute to 10 minutes long, depending on what wants to come through. They are short form mini readings that are all with my face in them, so you'll be able to follow along if that's a format that resonates with you, or if you just want to support me. Subscribing to that channel is a great way to do so. It just kind of helps me keep doing what I'm doing. With that being said, I love you and I'm grateful for you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It gives me a great big hug, and it also helps other people find energetically aligned readings when the time is right for that. So I will see you at your reading. Namaste. Hi there, group 1. Namaste and welcome to your reading. Today I'm bringing you a message from your ancestors, and you selected the first group with the removal of obstacles card. The first thing I'm hearing, group 1, is wow, what a doozy. So there seem to be a lot of things that are kind of shifting in your life right now. I'm getting that there's a big I'm hearing come to Jesus moment, which is definitely not what you would normally hear me say on my spiritual channel. Love Jesus. I'm just not specifically a Christian, but with that being said, I'm definitely getting this huge closure kind of energy. Your ancestors want to bring to your awareness that you have energetically released a lot very recently. There's this energy of closure that's coming to the surface. They want you to know that there are little energetic residues that were existing in a lot of different areas, or it can just be something that was residual, that was maybe 1 or 2 larger things, but I'm really getting more so the energy of the first one, that were sort of obstacles in your path. They say sort of because it did not inhibit your ability to move forward or to see your path clearly. In fact, continue to move forward and devote yourself to what you know is for you and who you are within. The big energy that's coming through here is something that did, however, inhibit or attempt to inhibit your authentic expression of self. Now, this is coming through your ancestors, and they want to let you know that this is a pattern that has unfortunately been passed down and conditioned in some way. Now, your ancestors on the other side can see this. In fact, some of them had broken this norm already. But there are many branches on a family tree, and your ancestors want to let you know, never, ever silence your voice for anyone. And it might not just be that you are silent sitting in a corner. It might not just be that you're removing yourself from a situation. It might be that you are not only using approved words and vocabulary or approved opinions in order to keep the peace. Rather, You are your own individual person, not your most authentic individual self that can possibly exist within a bubble that needs to be popped. Your ancestors want to let you know that this obstacle has been energetically removed from your life once again. This time, more of the dust in the corners, as opposed to the clutter in the center of the house kind of energy. They'd like to move to the tarot. Your ancestors want you to know that abundance is imminent. Your success is inevitable. And now you have more time and space in order to take on energies that, well, have been meant for you on your path, that you've been inspired to move forward with. Maybe you didn't have the bandwidth, maybe energetically, maybe physically, maybe in your ability to describe it to others. There is a specific ancestor that is coming through as the spokesperson of this specific collective of ancestors. This is not all of your ancestors that are coming through, but it's a specific branch. I'm getting not necessarily connected by blood. So if you think about one group, say your maternal side or your paternal side, and maybe on one of those sides there is siblings and they have their own family and they have their own family. So it's less of a connection like this, and it's more of an energetic branch. There is an ancestor of yours that has passed in your lifetime, so you've most likely met them, you've connected with them in some way, and they are in some way a gentle spirit guide for you. I'm getting here that they have experienced some of the struggles that you currently are with your family, with your current inspirations and passions in this life as well. When it comes to communicating these things, this has been something that has been a bit of a, I'm hearing lost cause, or at the very least feels like it. They want you to know you're not the only one in your family that has taken on this energy, as you're aware, at least partially, but they also want you to know that on your passed away ancestors, on your ancestors on the other side, they are also not the only one that has walked through this like you. So it is not just you too. There are other ancestors of yours that are on the other side that have experienced the same thing and have worked on this and through this, just like you have. The first thing that comes through is that they want you to know that, yes, they love you, but they want you to know that you are loved for who you are, regardless of maybe the twisted ways that others might show it to you or not show it to you specifically. I'm being shown an avoidant kind of energy where maybe the more you want to approach, the less you actually do. I'm kind of getting a little bit of a vibe like this. The more cherished you are, the less it's given to you, the less it's shown to you. The harder you work, the less results you receive. The more that you love, the less love you receive. There's an energy like this that's coming through. Now, this ancestor specifically wants you to know that this group of ancestors, this specific energetic branch of your ancestral tree, is the collective that's coming through to give you this message today, with them as the spokesperson, if you will. Now, they want to help you guide you through this because it's not something that you don't see or understand, but it is something that, well, you are walking through, and they can see it from an outside perspective, and they've walked through it as well, so they've got some wisdom to pass along to you here. The first thing I want to let you know is that your affairs are in order, they are secured, and they are growing. So the less you can interact or entertain any sort of lack mindset, drama, or chaos that might be around you but also has nothing to do with you, the better. And if this looks like taking a moment and I'm hearing isolating yourself a little bit, so be it. If it looks like you setting boundaries verbally, so be it. If it looks like you taking a little vacation elsewhere, so be it. Whatever that looks like for you, you will know what feels healthy. It doesn't feel like an eject button. It rather feels like you coming to center. And so if that looks like you camping and meditating, if that looks like you renting out a cabin for the next season, if that looks like you spending some time with yourself or with a healthy community, that is what they're encouraging you to do. Now, there is a project that has been on your mind for a while. It's something that you wanted to bring into fruition, but you look at the past and you look at the way that something with your ancestral energy, not the branch of the collective that's coming through, but the branch that might be, let's say, browning a little bit, pressured you into or was able to, you created this energy, you worked with this energy, but it was also in the vibe of you expressing as much as you can as long as it doesn't pop that bubble. Or it was your attempt out of that bubble, something that was supposed to lead to your liberation and independence, either literally or figuratively. Your ancestors want you to know that this is going to be something that you're encouraged to continue to move forward with and bring along with you on your path. Hence, this large energy of closure and removal of what the true obstacle is. The true obstacle here is your ability to receive love, not in just a spiritual universal sense. When you are in meditation and you are in oneness consciousness and you understand that all things love all things and that is just the way of the world, and when you open your eyes, humanity seems and feels a little chaotic, it's denser. Not in this way, which you are a master of. And your ancestors want you to know that they see this. Rather, in the way of knowing that you are loved, not because, well, they just do the best that they can. Not just, well, they're going to be themselves, and so you just learn how to love them despite their flaws. Not in that kind of distorted, almost manipulative vibe of unconditional love, which is a loaded phrase to say. I'm aware of that. This is the message from your ancestors, so you'll understand the way that this pertains to your individual situation. Your ancestors want you to know that you have always had more options than the rest of them. And this is exactly why, for whatever reason, you were deliberately held back. Because even with 5 out of 10 options taken off your plate, you still had more options or better options. I'm being shown, say that you've got a feast in front of you. Ton of food. Several dishes. Well, because there's already maybe more than you can eat there and it's already filled with your favorite food, well, there might be a few people who sneak in and they take an entire plate of food that isn't theirs, but, you might not know it's missing because you hadn't seen it yet. This is something that has happened to you several times. It is not something that happened as much to your ancestors because they were the one that set up the ability for you to have this feast in the first place. That was part of their life's work. They want you to know that things are drastically shifting for you very quickly. You've received this message a lot. You felt this energy a lot. However, you have yet to see it in a permanent and sustainable way. This is why you're being encouraged to trust that these obstacles have finally been removed. Not the clutter in the middle of the floor, but the dust in the corners. This big energy of closure, it is not just for fun. Right now, this inspiration that you're feeling, this consciousness that you have worked so hard to cultivate, the love within your heart, the truth that you know emotionally, intuitively, spiritually, and you can feel it in your bones. That is the truth that is your North Star, and has been, and will continue to be. However, when these, let's say, stolen dishes are reformulated and given to you by surprising sources, this is simply you being reimbursed for what was stolen by those who stole them themselves. Over time. Maybe they needed it. Maybe they wanted it. Maybe they were in an unhealthy energy. But one thing that you will find, with your ancestors definitely pulling some strings, kicking some butts behind the scenes, is that these energies, maybe they devoured that plate of yours that you didn't know was there for you. Or maybe you were expecting it, but it didn't show up and you said, oh, okay, maybe next time, or that's cool. I'm happy with what I have. Well, you're not receiving leftovers. These energies are hand-delivering to you something of their own creation or divine intervention that will not only reimburse but make amends, I'm hearing, with interest. As you receive this love from the sources that were not giving it to you specifically, open your heart as much as you can and allow it to validate your solar plexus. You are the very last person of the entire ancestral line to ever even get into your ego in the first place. You do not navigate through illusion or delusion. But with this avoidant cycle that was never yours to begin with, yet imposed upon you anyway, You are enough. You were never anxiously attached to that which was promised to you. You simply trusted that it was yours and would arrive in the right time, in the right place, in the right way. With that being said, the more that you do, the less you received. And so now you'll be receiving all that you've worked for. The more that you loved, the less you were loved. And now you're going to be receiving all of that love, plus interest. You are not the only one who has walked through this story and walked through this path. But you are the one who put the last nail in the coffin. And now, you are receiving that which was taken not only from you, but from this collective of ancestors before you, on their behalf, on behalf of yourself, and on behalf of generations to come. The most responsible thing that your ancestral line could have done is entrust these things with you. This is why your story looked the way it did. It is why it is about to look the way that it will. And trust in the instantaneous success that is on its way for you. You will not be surprised. And the message from your ancestors as well includes an energy of, as this arrives, it will be more than just relief. It will also be ecstatic, the way that you deserve. They are here for you. They love you. And I'm hearing the powerhouse of the cell. Like, you are the powerhouse of the cell. Like mitochondria. Like, the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. I don't know why I'm hearing that. It's kind of giving, like, the powerhouse that allow things to function. But it's you. You are the key. So, group 1, that is your channeled message from your ancestors. If you would like a personal with me, you can find those on Etsy at Spiritualistik. If you'd like to meditate with me, that's the first link in the description box below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I offer exclusive content on Patreon as well as here on YouTube and even on TikTok, so definitely follow me across platforms if that's something you're interested in. You want to keep up with what I've got going on. I love you. I'm grateful for you. Have an amazing day, week, month, year, and incarnation in this beautiful magical realm, and I'll see you next time. Namaste. Hi there, group 2. Namaste, and welcome to your reading. Today I'm channeling a message to you from your ancestors, and you selected the second group with the Rooted in Gratitude card. Group number 2, the first thing that your ancestors want to tell you is that you have a lot to be thankful for, but they also want to shed light on the fact that just because maybe, I'm hearing when an older generation tells the younger generation, oh, you don't know how hard I had it, like you have it so much easier these days, but it's not necessarily true. It's a different world experience, it's a different life experience, it's a different generation, a different economy, a different political climate, a different everything, different technology. So there's a little bit of this energy coming through here, recognizing that you might be, by some of your maybe living family members or just older generations that are kind of around you, circling a little bit, being perhaps a little bit gaslit by those around you. Your ancestors that are actually coming through for this reading, they want to let you know that this is something, unfortunately, that most people experience over time, but that doesn't make it right. Just because, as you know, or you're learning, just because everyone agrees to it doesn't make it true. Just because everyone's had to experience it doesn't make it fair, okay? So, with this Rooted in Gratitude energy, they want to tell you that your heart is pure as gold. They also want to tell you that there's a lot of abundance that is on its way for you. You've been feeling it, you've been knowing it, you're aware of it. But at the same time, you're being encouraged to keep that heart space considered sacred to your own self. You deserve for your energy to be seen, heard, cherished, loved in the way that it genuinely, truly is. Not in a way that can be molded to fit a common narrative. Not in a way that compromises between who you authentically are and maybe what your family or your ancestors are comfortable with it being. And they also want to send you a reminder here as well that you are very grounded and very, very smart. Two traits that you have been passed down by some of your ancestors that are coming through in this reading, but still not very common traits in your direct family line. So let's take a look at the tarot and see. I know, I can't believe that just came out. We're going to see what messages want to come through from your ancestors for you today, group 2. This is clearly an energy that is very blunt that's coming through, okay? I'm getting this as a collective voice that's coming through of what would feel like elders. So these might be energies that are later back in your family line, but they feel very empowered, even though their situation might have been drastically different from yours today. Okay, they want to remind you here that success is a state, and it's an internal state of being, okay? They want to let you know that you have opportunities in your life today that they didn't have, and they're not trying to get you to be grateful for breadcrumbs, because they're also aware that life was different for them than it is for you. There are different things that are normal, that are natural. There are different things that are required. Things that they had an easy time accessing, you don't. And things that they had a hard time accessing come easily for you. And so with that, they want to kind of, I'm hearing, pull together resources, energies, and gratitudes, and bring these together to create some sort of empowerment within you and your ancestral line moving forward. Really cool energy that's coming through here, actually. Now, this seems to be some sort of I'm getting a liberator energy, and they want to remind you of a childhood spirit guide that you had. For some of you, this was an imaginary friend that was actually a spirit guide. I did a reading on that a very long time ago, so maybe check that out. I think it's a message from your childhood imaginary friends or something like that. But there's an energy here where one of your spirit guides was actually an ancestor, but you might not have clocked them as an ancestor because they might have looked differently from you, spoken a different language from you, been from a different time or culture than you, but they're still in your blood, like their blood runs through you. There's something like this that's coming through. There's a spirit guide you've had for a long time that is in some way connected to you spiritually. I also want to shed light on the fact that there are physical bloodline ancestors, and there are also soul ancestors. So they can be ancestors as well from your soul's journey through the cosmos, journey through different incarnations as well. Because after this, you might incarnate into a life in the past in a different continent, right? It doesn't necessarily need to be in linear time with your specific bloodline. For most of you, that is what this is. But for some of you who are kind of understanding this energy and you're like, I don't know, that is also an option here that wants to come through. Either way, you are very intuitive. You have some serious spiritual and psychic gifts and abilities here that you are ready to, I'm hearing, wield and unleash into the world. And they want to tell you as well that there's a reason why you have a propensity for doing something good with these gifts. I'm hearing with power comes responsibility, but you're not interested in the power that comes along with it. You're interested in giving back. You're interested in love. You're interested in making sure, okay, that others don't experience the same things that you did, or making sure that others don't experience injustice or even deception. There's something here with some of these gifts that you have, or some of the stories that were told around you or about you. There's this really strong sense of deception, but the truth always reveals itself. This is something your ancestors want to share with you as well. There is a moral of the story here. I'm hearing the song Moral of the Story by Ash, where if you're not in the room with the drama, then you obviously aren't the one that started it. If you are not the one who shared your experience of your life, then someone else doesn't really know what happened from your experience and your perspective because you didn't tell them. If you are off doing your own thing, you know what you were doing, and other people don't. So there's this energy of truth that's being revealed, and something that has been just held for you, maybe not purposely withheld, but truly who you are. That's kind of being transformed in some sort of external perspective, and it's flipping over an energy and transmuting it in your ancestral line. Your family might have a lot of emotionally immature energies with the Five of Cups. They might have a lot of maybe they'll start a bunch of things, get really excited and start something and then never follow through with it with the Knight of Pentacles here. There might be a few people here who are super, super abundant, but they're so focused on receiving and taking more than they are giving. That's coming through here with the Ten of Pentacles and the Queen of Cups. But you also have a category of ancestors here that are very loving and very intuitive, they're also, with the Ace of Cups and the High Priestess, there can also be a vibe of people who they take through unjust, unfair, or out of integrity means. There can also be energies who have spiritual and psychic gifts and do not use them for good. I'm hearing the song For Good by Wicked, or from Wicked. Who can say if I've been changed for the better, but because I've known you, I have been changed for good. And so there's this energy of some of your ancestors acknowledging the fact that you're not the only one in your family who has these gifts, but you're the one who decides to use them for good. This is the kind of energy where you don't have role models of what you want to become or what you want to be, but you have a lot of role models of who you don't want to be, what you don't want to become, what you don't want to be like. And so it kind of leaves this blank slate for you, this blank page for you, that you can kind of create your own, which is good. It's opportunity. But at the same time, there is this desire to give back, to make sure that other people don't kind of fall into the traps that you were born into. And so your ancestors do want to let you know here that it's going to be important that you continue to move forward. I'm hearing quality over quantity, as you know, but sometimes you're being encouraged to make the decision to forge the path ahead, even though it doesn't look like it's going to be successful at first. Okay? Because the same could be said for you. If you looked at maybe your upbringing, if you looked at maybe the resources you had growing up, if you looked at maybe the religion or the culture or the limiting beliefs that you were born into, one could say that you shouldn't be where you are today. But you are. And so you're being encouraged to take that same approach. And remember, group number 2, your ancestors want to remind you, I'm hearing specifically, my dear, you have never been the rule. You have always been the exception. So what makes you think that this is different? That is the only rule that applies to you, is that you are always the exception. They're really highlighting your intellect and your ability to create abundance, especially in the heart space as well. You've always been bold enough and brave enough to follow your heart, but finding what your heart was saying instead of what others told you your heart should be saying or telling you, what you like telling you, like informing you when you're little. Say when you're really little, someone puts you in swim and they're like, oh, you love swimming. You've always loved swimming. And you're 30 years old, you're still swimming and you never liked it. You never really learned whether or not you liked it. You've just been doing it forever and your family tells you you like it. And so you just become the person who likes swimming. You didn't discover whether or not you liked it. Maybe you didn't, but it's just part of that personal imprint that goes on you now. There's something like this. You've always followed your heart, even when you had to unlearn and relearn what that looked like and meant for you. There's a huge energy of like confusion that's going on here. You might have been gaslit a lot or maybe even manipulated or controlled or something like this, especially from like family or ancestral energies. There's something that this was meant to protect you from, which is not an excuse. But your ancestors want to come through and let you know that you have created a better future for yourself. And so if there's a fear of you passing this forward, this energy, or subconsciously or accidentally turning into this or passing it forward, don't worry, there's absolutely zero chance that is going to happen. Some of you, I'm hearing someone say, my bloodline ends with me. And they want to let you know that your choice is your own. However, you don't need to make that choice because you would not project the same energies that were projected onto you. Okay, some of you might be afraid of carrying on your bloodline or afraid of bringing your family around like children or even having children because of the horror stories or whatever was said to you or told to you, whatever. They want to let you know, similarly to when you're told what you do and don't like, okay, don't let your past tell you what your future should be for that reason as well, okay? Because you will find out what you like, you will find out what you want, you will find out what is right for you, and that is what you will follow. It doesn't need to follow a narrative of this ran in my family until it ran into me, okay? The cycle never stopped until I stopped it. And because I broke it, I wanted to make sure never to pass it down. So your ancestors want to give light to a situation or an energy like this. Your choice is your own and they respect you and they respect it. And that is the way that it should always be. No matter what it is, no matter what decision you choose, no matter who it is that you become in the future or are today. They want you to continue to stand on your own because you have inherited the best of the traits of your ancestors. Not just your spiritual abilities, not just your empathy, not just your ability to create abundance, but also your ability not to take any crap, to say what you mean, to stand on your word, to be absolutely precise with what it is that you say, what it is that you mean, and be very, very educated about what you're speaking about as well. There's no speculation, there is no drama, there is no chaos. There is simply fact and decision, boundaries, intellect. And behind that is love, empathy, compassion, abundance, spirituality. You embody the light traits of your ancestral line. However, some of these traits, because they provide friction against some sort of familial narrative, you might see as shadow, or you might see them as light, but others choose to attempt to cast shadow on them. Continue to pay no mind. I'm being shown the word zoo. So there's something about maybe animals or a zoo, or it could just be like, I'm hearing like the monkey mind kind of situation. Pay no mind to the zoo. And continue to give back. I'm hearing one for me, one for you. I'm also being shown like a flower. And picking off the petals saying, they love me not. They love me not. And they want to let you know that you're the one who decides if you're going to pick up a flower with even or odd petals. You don't let the flower decide. You don't allow it to be random. You can simply look at the flower and say, which one will I start with? And how many petals are on this flower? And then you can choose differently. You don't get swept up in agreements that were decided for you. And above all, your ancestors want to let you know that you have cut through all of this. You have learned to receive love and abundance that is your birthright and has been. There's something about an inheritance coming through, an energetic or spiritual inheritance coming through, as well as perhaps a financial one for some of you as well. I'm getting property, unclaimed property, or something like this. You're also being encouraged to understand that your words are the key to cutting through the deception that was taught to you and following your heart to create some sort of a new, happy, abundant energy. And that is something that will last into the future. And no, it's not a pipe dream. You see the light at the end of the tunnel. It is not a mirage. It is not a hallucination. And if there are people around you that are gaslighting you, that is great for them, but it does not define your truth. Group number 2, that is your channeled message from your ancestors. I hope this helps shed love, light, and clarity for you. If you'd like to meditate with me, that's the first link in the description box below. If you'd like a personal with me, I offer tarot readings, channeling sessions, Reiki, astrology, and astrocartography. You can find those on my spiritual shop on Etsy at Spiritualistik. You can find there intention candles, crystals, journals, tarot and oracle decks, so on and so forth, stuff to assist you with your spiritual journey, all handcrafted by me. And with that being said, I love you and I'm grateful for you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Patreon. If you want to join my book club, you're more than welcome to do that as well. We're reading The Power of Now right now. Follow me on TikTok and on Instagram, and I will see you next time. Namaste. Hi there, Group 3. Namaste, and welcome to your reading. Today I'm channeling a message to you from your ancestors, and you selected the third group with the Escaping the Matrix card. Group 3, the first message that's coming through here is you are not alone, especially in the areas where it feels like you might be. There's something about maybe your first house, if you have planets in your first house, or if you're experiencing a solar return. I know that's not first house, but it's giving like self-focus, maybe Aries, Mars, something like this. I'm not going to dive too deeply into that, but there's something here about the self expressing itself authentically, being seen for who and what you are, and that being honored and cherished in the way that you deserve, in the way that you are also able to hold space and provide that for others. Your ancestors want to let you know that there is something that is unique about you that is a positive thing, but because it's unique, people don't necessarily know how to handle it. Your ancestors are able to see and understand you because all of these energies together with the collective of your ancestors are each representative of individual stitches in the tapestry that is yourself. And that is not to say that you are simply a sum of the parts that come before you. They do want to let you know, however, that with a little bit of a blueprint, they're able to understand who you are. Or at the very least, take your individuality more into consideration and understand it better, because they have a framework of integral pieces of you that allow that plant to blossom. Say that your ancestors is that of pine trees, for an example's sake. Every single pine tree is individual. But pine trees understand other pine trees. Now your pines will be individual. Your location, therefore your experience, will be individual. Your length of life, the animals that come to you, the air that you breathe, the pine cones, the sap, it's all highly individual. And your experience is unique. But more than a squirrel or a human or a bee, pines understand more pines. And that is not to say that there are not things that the bee will recognize and understand about you that all of the other pines will not. But your ancestors want you to know that there's a certain way that you need to be cherished, a certain way that you need to get cared for, and it does require, as the card you selected points out, escaping the matrix. Now, of course, matrix is such a buzzword in the spiritual community. And when we take the fluff out of it, when we take the propelled energy out of it, and we peel that back and we look at what it really is, there's patterning, there's conditioning, there's training, there's the status quo of what people are supposed to do or what people are supposed to act like. People who look like you, who live where you live, who have the hobbies that you have, the interests that you have, the background that you have, so on and so forth. There are hundreds of thousands at least of small, minute status quos that put together each individual identity. But that does not mean that they need to follow one or any of those status quos. For example, you're someone who likes tarot readings, and one could make assumptions or projections about that. One could assume you're into other types of spirituality or astrology. That doesn't need to be the case. But also, if you like tarot and you don't like astrology, you don't then have an obligation to learn and like astrology if it's not genuine to you. And so there's this energy of sifting through these energies, weaving together what is yours, but also understanding that the ancestral backing here is able to provide you with some sort of a template of support where your individuality still thrives, but there's a template of the less understood aspects of you. The ancestral energy that's coming through here is very, very ancient, actually. It feels a little less people that you and maybe your parents' generations, grandparents' generations might have known individually and personally. It's not saying there's not one or two maybe stragglers here, because this is a collective that's coming through for you, group 3. But it's really feeling ancient. This is feeling like a different type of civilization on Earth here. It's feeling a little bit more, we have a village, or a little bit more, we have technology that doesn't exist anymore in your world, and we don't have technology that exists in your world. It's a little bit more, what is normal is totally day and night different from what is normal here. It might even be something like, for some of you, Atlantis or Lemuria or something like this. For others of you, it can just be an ancient time period. I'm definitely just getting ancient energy. So the way that resonates with your ancestral collective that's coming through here, you'll feel it in your bones. If you don't have a label for it, that's okay. You don't need to. That's not the point of this message. But it is to help you understand that there is a blueprint here that your individuality grows that requires some sort of breaking out of the box, seeing outside of the box, thinking outside of the box, breaking the status quo, seeing outside of the matrix, outside of what we're taught is supposed to occur or you're supposed to be or is supposed to happen. All of those matrix type energies, whether it's social matrix or economic matrix, or whether it's physical matrix, or even in consciousness, understanding logic matrix, right? All of those little different bubbles of preconceived conditioning. Your individuality is outside of that. And this ancestral collective here holds together a tapestry a blueprint that actually holds support and understanding for a lot of the versions of you as an individual that you really feel like doesn't have a place, maybe even in your own family when you look around at the last few generations. Maybe even around you when you look at the matrix around you. You look at the status quo. And so let's get into the tarot and see what message they've got for you today. I'm hearing Control, Alt, Delete. Okay. Oh, interesting here. We have 2 cards that came out in reverse right out the gate. When this happens, I always check my deck was not upside down. Okay. But with that, there's this energy of wanting to put a pause on something or start over with something, or kind of wanting to let it go on autopilot while you focus on other things. Because there's a little bit of this energy of a struggle, like you're not seen, you're not understood. There's this energy of you being either extraordinarily ahead of your time or extraordinarily behind your time. Not in a way that's like, oh, if only I had started this 10 years earlier, or, oh, if only I had started this 10 years later. That might fit into some small micro stories in your life. But while you're aware your soul incarnates in the right place at the right time, intentionally, all of these things, your ancestors want to let you know that what is ancient is also highly futuristic, and vice versa. And it has almost always been like this on planet Earth. Like, this is definitely an ancient ancestral energy coming through here if they're able to have this perspective. And also these are energies on the other side, of course, so they're able to see energies that most humans cannot. There is this vibe of you wanting to make sure that you are maybe more and more disciplined with yourself in particular ways. If only you can buckle down a little bit more. If only you can grab a little more energy. If only you can maybe explain that misunderstanding. If only you can heal and grow and evolve just a little bit more so that that person who mishandled you, but they were a good person, they didn't do it on purpose, but they kept mishandling you, and then they whine about it because they mishandled you and they're uncomfortable and you want to make sure blah, 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 right? That kind of stuff happens a lot when you're a bright light in this world, or when you're just a really individual person, when you don't fit in with the trends, right? Your ancestors want to let you know that that energy is not conducive for you, and that it's okay. This is the kind of vibe where in this pile, you've gone through a lot of different transformations in this life, and you're going to continue going through a lot of transformations in this life. However, you want to make sure not to allow yourself hurt or pain because you wish to have more permanent, or at the very least long-lasting energies around. Now, this isn't saying that you don't get to have your happy ending or that you don't get to have energies like this. It is saying that through your cycle or pattern of life, again, look at your first house or things of Aries or Mars in your astrological chart, if that rings a bell for you. But you're very much used to things coming in and then not needing to get attached to them because you will find that they will go. Whether they stay for 1 month or 5 years, this is just kind of the energy of things passing through you because you're not in the matrix. Therefore, you're not going to stop at a particular energy or at a particular level. You're not going to stop in a particular paradigm or a particular experience and say, okay, this is good, I will stop here and then create a little matrix of my own. Whether that's a job, whether that's a friendship, whether that's a way of being, whether it's a place that you live. There's this energy of arriving somewhere and then moving along, arriving somewhere and moving along. It's growing and evolving. It's blossoming like a flower. And that's a beautiful, beautiful energy. But it does make things like permanence or other people understanding you hard. You'll find people who they have one thing that they like and one thing that they do and 5 people that they've loved their entire life, and then they move forward. And you've lived thousands of lives at the same age as them. You've met thousands, maybe lived in hundreds of places, have had thousands of interests. You have you've kept moving along and growing and transforming. And it's not because you reject safety or stability. It's because you continue to allow that to flip over and grow and evolve as you do. These ancestors here today would like to give you a little bit of clarity about where it is that you land, understanding that this is part of the permanent fixture of the energy in your life, more or less. That doesn't mean that there are not things that can evolve and keep up with your pace, But they do want to give you some clarity here. I'm sure that most of you already have intuitively. And so a lot of this, they just like for me to be the verbal messenger of this because you already have a good idea, okay? Which is coming through. So sometimes just give yourself a pat on the back. It's okay. You're doing a wonderful job inside and out, okay? But with that being the case, with this ancient energy that's coming through for your pile that did not come through for the other piles, it's going to be important to recognize here, or they would like you to recognize, that you are kind of representing not just a cycle breaker for a family unit, but rather you are the new embodiment of all that was, kind of planting its seeds for the future in a healthy way, in a current matrix that was not built to hold whatever was shut out. Think of this, to use a simple to understand example and that's relevant where I live in the United States, and I say this gently and then we'll move along. Okay, just an example. Most of the history that we're taught in school is absolute phony baloney. It's not true at all whatsoever. I mean, some of it is, but it's very, very whitewashed. It's very, very colonized. It's very, very biased. You know, it's not, history is not dependent. The history we learned in school, when I was in school, it wasn't dependent upon what happened in history. It was dependent upon who wrote the history books that we were then taught in school. So there's this process of unlearning, and then there are a lot of people around my age and in my demographic who are kind of, they are either protesting or they're taking the initiative to unlearn and then relearn and kind of plant those seeds in the places where, hey, mom and dad, did you know that what you learned in school isn't necessarily true? Hey, did you know that this person that you were taught to idolize was actually a very horrific person? Things like that. And that's not really a fun place to be in. I mean, it can be if that's what you're into, but your ancestors want to let you know that energetically, you're in kind of a similar place to this. Escaping, it's not that you are working to escape the matrix, it's that you represent truth, integrity, ancient knowledge, and the future. And you are kind of walking around, bopping around in this matrix energy. Not that you are disillusioned by it, but you're walking around in it, kind of reawakening dormant energies. I'm being shown you walking through a path. And in this path, there are like dead flowers all around, like plants and everything. And as you walk along this path, you, your energy like awakens all these flowers. They wake up, they blossom, they remember, they come back alive. It's going from like sepia tones, black, white, and gray tones to like the life and the color and all of these beautiful energies. So I'm also being shown the poppies in the Wizard of Oz. Poppies can be significant for you, maybe in your spiritual practice or as a sign, or I'll just leave that there because this is a general reading, right? So if you wish to go down that rabbit hole, you can, if that's resonant for you. But your ancestors want to tell you that it is not as much you against the world as you think it is. It's a little bit more you for the world just by showing up and being yourself. It's less about what you can build and what you can receive, and more about you continuing to put one foot in front of the other. They're aware that sometimes that can be frustrating, but they're also aware that it's not 100% resonant with you all the way to create whatever is normal for a foundation for you in this life, in this matrix, in this world during this time. That's not to say that you won't acquire it or achieve it, but it's definitely going to look like you. The people around you, they're going to reflect you. The things that you build, the places you go, they're going to reflect you. And so it's going to be more of, I'm hearing an island of misfit toys, okay, that rarely but somewhat consistently shows up in my readings, that analogy. So if you have picked any of those piles in the past, hello, my friends. But it's like in a vintage shop, in a thrift shop. You never really know what's going to be there. It's kind of a collection of random things, more or less. Things that just so happen to end up there. But what they all have in common is the antique shop, is the thrift shop. What these things all have in common is that they resonate with you. Like the fact that you might like tarot, and you might also like a particular religion, maybe even one that disowns tarot. But you might like tarot and you might not like astrology. Even though we think that those things are together or in a common matrixy sense. You can like all those things. It doesn't make you basic, right? I like those things, right? Let me tell myself. But your ancestors want you to know that you are not left behind. You are forging the future. Others are needing to get it together to catch up. You have a blueprint of, let's go back to the pine tree examples, other pine trees that understand what it's like to be a pine tree. Pine trees need very specific conditions to grow, especially the type of pine tree that you are. There are different types of pine trees. And when you are the only pine tree in the forest, or when you're surrounded by people and bees and squirrels and birds, if there's a flock of birds in your tree and they're all having a conversation, having a wonderful time, you can make friends with those birds, but they're not going to understand what it's like to be you. They might love you. They might also fumble you because you were not meant to be a bird. You were meant to be a pine tree. Pine trees hold very amazing technology, by the way. I highly recommend you take a look at that if you're interested in that. Continue to follow your intuition as you have been. It continues to be revealed to you more and more over time that literally blindly following your accurate intuition brings you to places beyond what you could fathom. And that is a gift that most do not get to receive. A lot of people might fake it. A lot of people might claim it after the fact. But for you, it's true. Yet you do neither. Your ancestors want you to know that things are changing for you. Put one foot in front of the other. And trust that the reason why you are not getting let off the stop. Let off the train stop. Let off the whatever. The reason you're not getting let off at any particular stop, any particular doorway, any particular entrance, because you are embodying an ancient, highly evolved technological energy. It's so ancient that it's futuristic. It is not fitting in with the common choices of today. I'm being shown that scene in Mean Girls at the mathalon thing. The answer is the limit does not exist. They're all thinking about which number is it? Which one is it? Is it 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5? And the answer is no. And that is very much the energy of the message that your ancestors wish to bring to you today. Well, if it's not this one, maybe it's this one. If it's not that one, maybe it's this one. And the answer is, my love, the things around you that others can fathom, that you can see around you, that is not for you. None of those things are for you. It doesn't mean that you don't get yours. You absolutely get yours, but what you get is so fine-tuned to you. It requires a rebirthing of an ancient energy and the forging of a highly futuristic energy that are one and the same. Therefore, pardon if some of the resources are a little tricky to find, because some of them have not yet been discovered or invented yet. It's giving again the energy of, we continue to rediscover in science, in Western medicine, things that we've known for thousands of years and still literally have access to the information. But one day someone said, we want to totally ignore that because it doesn't fit our narrative. Let's start from scratch again, and let's use this different process in order to rediscover the same things that we've already known. So if it's commonly known and has been for centuries, for some reason it's taboo to claim something as fact that has always been a fact, has recently been discovered again to be a fact, but for some reason it's still taboo. Now, if you take those energies, take those facts, well, that might require the result of that to create a result of that, to create a technology, to create a system, to create an idea. And that one little thing, that is your resource. That is a piece of your puzzle. So it's not going to be on the back few pages of the newspaper. It's not going to be something you scroll and find on Amazon. It's not going to be something that you see on TikTok or Instagram. And that might be very frustrating for you. It's not going to be something that you see your friends and your family doing or living. But that's not the way that you want it either. Your ancestors want you not to feel left out. If anything, just this little blip in time is left out from what was so big and grand and beautiful and advanced and intelligent, and what will be also big and beautiful and advanced and intelligent. This little blip of time and space, intentionally curated in order to manifest this little bubble. Try your best, hard as it might be sometimes, not to take it personally that you resonate with what is, instead of what pretends to be, or what's expected of those who pretend that something that they never learned must simply be the outcome of something that they were taught from someone who was told to believe that. Word salad, I know. Basically, telephone. Say someone makes up a rumor, and they tell it to someone who tells it to someone who tells it to someone who tells it to someone, word of mouth. By the 10 millionth person, you're not having the same sentence. You're not even having the same plot. It might not even be on the same topic. And that is what this matrix is today. But don't forget, the rumor was made up in the first place. Your ability to not fit along that telephone line is a gift. It is a blessing. Do your best to see it as such. Right now, try your best to find little things that spark you, spark your light, spark your creativity, spark your joy. Because these are how you find pieces of your puzzle. You're aware of truth. Put one foot in front of the other. Do not expect the same outcomes that others receive. Do not expect you to be drawn to the same things others are drawn to. Do not expect you to see or know or understand or want the same things as other people around you. That is one of the biggest blessings that your ancestors have been able to provide for you. It is something that your soul was open to, finally, in your line of ancestors. They're saying, Group 3, our little black sheep, don't you see that you're the one that really fits in? And it's the world around you that does not. Group number 3, this is your channeled message from your ancestors. This was definitely a very cool reading. I enjoyed this one a lot. I hope this helped shed love, light, and clarity for you. And I hope you have an amazing day, week, month, year, and incarnation in this beautiful magical realm. If you're interested in a personal with me, those are on my Etsy shop at Spiritualistik. You can find tarot and oracle decks, including but not limited to the ones used in today's reading and all over my channel. I offer personal Reiki sessions, tarot, channeling, astrology, astrocartography, and even personalized light codes if you're into that flavor of spirituality as well. If you'd like to meditate with me, if that's more your vibe over there, that's the first link in the description box below. That is a 21-day guided meditation retreat. I highly recommend that you check it out. It has gotten wonderful reviews so far. I've been practicing it myself. It's just a wonderful way to connect and maybe show up for your meditation practice or have a little bit of a direction. It's always nice to have a collection of the same few guideds in your pocket just to help with your practice. So that is what that's made for. It is 21 days if you'd like to take it as a retreat consecutively as it's created to be received. But it's also yours forever, so you can jump around it and utilize what serves you when you need it. Again, you have it forever, so you can always access those as well. So from my heart to yours, that is something I'd love to pass along to you. I do post weekly on Patreon as well as here on my YouTube members channel. I'm over on TikTok at Spiritualistik. I've got a little subscription page over there as well for more exclusive content. You can also find me on Instagram at Spiritualistik as well. It's my handle across everything. And Also, if you're interested in joining my book club, it's fully donation based. We're reading The Power of Now right now, which is a great read. I can't wait to reread it. And we are going to have our next meeting December 7th. So if you're interested in that, we have a little group chat and a forum. It's donation based, so you can contribute or you don't, and you show up and you can read the book or you don't. It's community and people with like-minded interests. We vote on the books, and except for me, we all vote on the books, and so it's kind of more of a fair process of like community, bringing people together and seeing what we'd like to dive into together. So it's been a really special experience for me. So if you're in the book club, thank you. I love you. It's been so fun. And if you're interested in it, you can find it on my Patreon. If you look around over there, I've got my Pick a Card tier, Pick a Card Plus book club. I've got Simply Book Club. And then, of course, I've got my meditation collection up there as well. Like, comment, subscribe. Have an amazing day, week, month, year, and incarnation in this beautiful magical realm. And I will see you next time. Namaste.